I could probably search YouTube for the next 6 months and not find a clearer demonstration of intellectual dishonesty.
Stop. Bingo. Accusation number 1. Intellectual dishonesty.
And I think, what is the matter with these people?
If your first reaction to that clip was anything other than laughter, if, heaven forbid, you agreed with Billy Craig, then I can only assume and hope that I'm wrong, that you, like Billy Craig, have the reasoning skills of a toddler.
Accusation number 2. That William Lane Craig does not have good reasoning skills, or any variant of that same sentence that you care to fabricate. The problem is this, and this will persist throughout the video. James has provided us with 2 accusations, and he will attempt to justify both with the same argument.
The question on the table is not whether or not a novel combination of constituent parts commenced an occupation of time and space at a discrete moment. Clearly this is the case, and so it is not being argued by the detractors of the Kalam cosmological argument that novel combinations do not come and go from existence. The question is, from whence do these novel combinations arise? Yes, Billy, you began to exist at a particular moment in time. No, Billy, dinosaurs were not present at the Big Bang.
Now we're at the part where I've already said that I agree with. See where he takes it.
For someone who prides himself on being a philosopher, this is the most flagrant example of a straw man I have yet seen from someone boasting the entourage of William Lane Craig. This guy gets respect.
Accusation number 3. It's a straw man. That his argument is a straw man. A straw man is when an individual attacks an argument that is not being made. William Lane Craig is not attacking anything. He is defending. And in a defensive position, you cannot commit a straw man fallacy.
Every atom that makes up every one of the trillion cells that make up your body, Billy, were once the atoms that made up every cell in the food that you ate. And those atoms made up the trillions of cells that made up the food that your food ate. And so on, and so on, and so on. So, Billy, while the combination of atoms is novel in that at this particular moment they happen to collectively constitute the chassis of a shit-flinging pseudo-philosopher,
Reiteration of accusation 2.
the atoms that make up your body are not new. They did not begin to exist with you. Everything that you can point to anywhere is only a novel combination of pre-existing atoms that did not begin to exist with the novel combinations that make up a shoe or a cow or a planet. So, there is nothing in the universe which ever began to exist wholly separate from other things that preceded it in form. Every carbon atom in every shit that you've ever taken was forged in the million-years-long process of stellar fusion and supernova. What a fucking waste.
Second reiteration of accusation 2.
And those stars came from earlier stars, which came from earlier stars, which came from earlier stars, which came from earlier stars, all the way back to the beginning of the universe. So the only thing that could have possibly began to exist is presumably the universe. But you're trying to argue that the universe began to exist by saying that everything which begins to exist has a cause. But the only thing that could have possibly began to exist is the universe. But you're trying to argue that the universe began to exist by saying that everything which begins to exist has a cause. But the only thing that could have possibly... So if the only thing that could possibly have begun to exist is the universe, you have no footing to assert that everything which begins to exist has a cause. So, Billy, as soon as you and your parrots are done spouting infantile tripe,
Third reiteration of accusation 2.
we'll be here, ready to deal with comebacks that aren't playground taunting. Until then, happy strawman.
You see, it's not an argumentative tactic, like James would have you believe, that it is just a matter of preference, personal taste. What we have here are a number of accusations, only one of which is justified. The others are thrown in hollowly and for sex appeal. Nowhere in this video is evidence of intellectual dishonesty. If anything, James himself is now suspect of intellectual dishonesty.